So welcome, I'm Dr. Edu. This is Eretmis Academy. We do this cyber chat every Friday around the same time. So if you are new to the family, you are always welcome. So this is a little bio about myself. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. I'm the founder of Eretmis Academy and Eretmis Inc. Eretmis Inc. is a cybersecurity consultant company based in New York. Eretmis Academy is also based in New York. I'm a former United States Army captain, and these are my cybersecurity sets. I love training and doing everything cybersecurity. I'm a former professor at University of Maryland Global College and CTC. So we will leave that there. We are not here to talk only about myself, but to give you some good information, right? So please excuse me if I slow down a little bit because I'm still letting people in as we are going through our discussions. And if you have any questions, please raise your virtual hand up and I'll get to you. So as I'm going through this, I've minimized my video. So I wouldn't be able to, when you do raise your hand, it's gonna pop up in the notification. So I will get to you when it's possible. So please allow, and also I'll encourage that everybody be patient, right? So if you raise your hand and I mean, we don't address your question or you put it in the chat and we've not got into it, we will definitely get to it before we finish. So we are trying to keep it within an hour. That way everybody can go about their weekend. Okay. So thank you once again. So today we were talking about scholarships, cybersecurity scholarships, where to get scholarships for cybersecurity education. And we wouldn't be able, there are so many when it comes to scholarships. So we wouldn't be able to cover everything. So we would continue next week again. But today we will touch on at least 3 main big ones, especially on the government side. And we also see some backstory as to why the government is investing in cybersecurity and why other corporate bodies are also jumping in to help. Right. So let's get started. So cybersecurity, the government got involved in cybersecurity a very long time ago. I mean, cybersecurity is a national security issue. Please hold on. I want to mute everybody. So it is a national security issue. So government upon government, they've been putting in place executive orders and funding to help promote cybersecurity, right? But about almost 20 years ago, the government's focus was not, very heavy when it comes to cybersecurity. It was heavy on IT, but not necessarily very, very heavy as it is now on cybersecurity because the landscape has also changed, right? Now, cyber criminals, are on a rampage. Tools that cyber criminals have access to go about their malicious activities. Most of those tools are free, right? And so as technology is advancing, we are becoming more vulnerable, and the cyber criminals are also taking more advantage of it, right? During COVID, the FBI stated that cybercrime went up almost by 300%, right? Almost 300%. So that goes to show you that every government will position itself to win this cyber battle. So the current government, they've signed an executive order, and this is a report that I picked from AP, that was on May 12th. So there is an executive order that is supposed to help protect federal agencies and the country as a whole. And that came with some money as well, right? And not to say there wasn't any money already assigned to cybersecurity, but now they kind of boosted up. I think it's almost around like 10-point-something billion pushed into cybersecurity. And a very critical part that the government is tackling, right, is cybersecurity training. So we can talk about cybersecurity all day, but who are going to be the professionals that are going to help protect the country in terms of like government infrastructure and then also in terms of the corporate side, right? If we don't have the manpower to do that, then we are fighting a lost cause because we can invest in technology that we will use to help prevent some of these attacks and others. But if we don't have the trained personnel to even man these technologies, then we are really losing the battle. So the government is pushing that side, and in so doing, they've also invested in some of the money for cybersecurity has been directed towards promoting cyber education. And now they have it where they are trying to, or they are incorporating some courses, at the junior level, so up to K-12, to make it where we are, making, or we are building cybersecurity professionals from, that level, as low as 4th grade, 3rd grade. They are introducing that in there. If your kid is in 3rd grade or 4th grade, they might probably be doing something in terms of cyber education, right? So, and for people who have to get into the industry, or who have to fill that gap that we have right now, this is what we'll be looking at. So we are looking at some of the government agencies that the government has set up. Some of these have been around for a long time, right? Others were set up not so long ago. So these are just to show you the commitment of the government to promoting and positioning itself to really win at this cyber war, or like cyber battle that is going on. These are some of the agencies who are fronting it. So in the United States, Department of Commerce, they are in charge of cybersecurity. Everything cybersecurity, it goes through them, right? And then we also have Department of Homeland Security playing a really big role. And we have National Security Agency. We have Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. So this is kind of the main body that is directly spearheading everything cybersecurity. And then under it, we have Cybersecurity Initiative, Cybersecurity Initiative for National Initiative for Cybersecurity Careers and Studies. So that is, excuse me. All right, so that is NICCS. So all these sites that, all these agencies that I'm talking about, once we're done, we will send out all these details. You can take a look at their websites. They have some good info on there. So you can, play around and see. If you want to be a cybersecurity professional, you have to be a student of the industry, and this is part of it, right? Knowing who is who in terms of the players on the government side, right? We also have a National Center of Academic Excellence in Cybersecurity, NIST. Almost, I mean, you can't be in cybersecurity without knowing NIST. NIST is one of the biggest names when it comes to cybersecurity because of the frameworks or the standards that they make, right? And NIST, they don't just make standards for cybersecurity, but for other areas that has to do with technology, right? And then also NICE. So NICE is the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education. So anything cybersecurity education is NICE, right? You go to NICE website, they have some really good webinars, and they have some really good programs on there as well. And then the last one is, so these are not all the agencies, by any means. These are not all the agencies, but I mean, we cannot list all of them. And maybe probably there are even others elsewhere that I'm not even aware of, right? So the last one is cyber.org. It used to be National Integrated Cyber Education Research Center. So this is just to show you the government's commitment to helping fight cybercrime and also to promote cybersecurity. And the goals, or like the goal that the government, has in terms of why they are spending whatever money they are spending on cybersecurity, is one, to solve the workforce shortage that we have right now. So I think we did a webinar almost 2 months ago, Cyber Chat, and we talked about the workforce shortage, and we went to cyberseek.org, one of the agencies' websites that really tracks like the shortage of cybersecurity professionals in real time. So you can go by state or even by your metro area, and then for the United States, in general, it will show you how many unfilled cybersecurity jobs that are there at this moment, right? And when we finish and there is time, we might probably take a peek at it again. But if you're not in that one, we might probably also send that when we are sending out the resources for today. Okay. So the government wants to solve that problem because there is a gap, right? There is not enough cybersecurity professionals to fill the cybersecurity roles that are in the United States. So that is on the government side and also on the corporate side. So guess what? The government and the corporate side, they are fighting for the very few cybersecurity professionals that are there, right? And because of that, guess what? The price of the salaries for cybersecurity professionals are always going to go up, and that is why they are that high, right? Like national average is around anywhere 90 or 85 to like 110, right? So it is very high because the demand is low. Like the demand is high, but the supply is low. Okay. So by 2022, ending of 2022, there will be 1.8 million cyber jobs that are projected to be unfilled. Now, currently by CyberSeek, they project almost, last time that we looked at it, it was 590, right? 590,000 unfilled cybersecurity jobs in the United States. And that is, they are tracking it in real time. This is just a projection, all right? So at least 1.8. And we have, how are we trying to fill this shortage, right? So the government even have a program. I don't think we have that in these slides, but like they have a program where now they are turning previous government workers in different like positions. They are picking them and training them to become cybersecurity professionals. So that goes to show you how bad the need for cybersecurity professionals, even on the government side, is. And because the government and the corporate side are struggling for the very few cybersecurity professionals out there, now the government is also pushed to increase the salaries for cybersecurity professionals. If you've worked in the government side, you know, mostly your salary is based on your rank or whatever levels that your job will entail. So in the military, it will be your, you know, E1, E2 going up to O, or if you are on the warrant side, you know, like your W1, W2, and also based on your time in service, right? On the civilian side, on the government side, it will be your GS and other like designations that they have. But now, if somebody is probably maybe working as a GS, maybe 7, and they are holding maybe like a cybersecurity analyst role, their counterpart on the corporate side is making way more than them. So now I think like the government is coming up with some incentives to boost their salaries for people in those like special spots. That way, you know, they don't leave and go work for the corporate side. Okay, so that is how bad the need for cybersecurity professionals, you know, is at this point, right? And also the government, like the intent of the government or the goal, one of the goals is also to provide cyber educational resources to anybody who wants to become a cybersecurity professional, and also for schools, right? For schools, they help to develop curriculums, and they're also training for teachers, and they are trying to really get it to like the lowest level. So elementary schools is where they are even starting, right? And also building a pipeline, so building a funnel that is going to feed the government side and the corporate side with cybersecurity professionals. Okay, so that is the intent of what the government is doing in terms of cybersecurity. And states, so we wouldn't be able to touch on this, like the state government side, but next week we will look at that as well. So for the state side, they are also doing a lot to promote cybersecurity education within, you know, state agencies, and also to push it on the corporate side. Because I know New York, they increased their cybersecurity budget by almost 500 million, almost like 4 months ago. So, and I mean, and even that, you know, there are chances they might probably even increase it again, right? So the first federal program that we will look at in terms of scholarships and funding or free training that the federal government is offering to help promote cybersecurity. The first one that we'll look at is the Federal Virtual Training Environment, right? So this is a platform that has a whole range of courses for cybersecurity, right? So if you don't have the funds to actually take any classes anywhere, and you really want to get into the cybersecurity industry, this is a place to start, right? It is totally free. If you go there and you enroll, I mean, it is totally free, and there is no limit on how many courses that you can take. And there is a variety of courses out there, right? So the intent of this platform was the government put it together to really make it like the hub of cybersecurity training, and to make it available for federal, state, local, and like the military, right? And then federal contractors. Also, it is also free for veterans and the general public as well. So if you go to the site, they have two portals. So one is for government agencies or like government workers, and then the other side is for like the general public, right? So you can take a look at that. We will, and everything on there is managed by Department of Homeland Security, and then also by Fed Tech. Okay, and they have almost 800 hours of training, and their training covers anything from ethical hacking, malware analysis, and the list goes on. So like the courses, as I was talking about earlier, almost 800 hours of training. This is their website. We will go to that, and you'll be able, they also have like certification prep courses. So they have general courses, right? And then they also have tailored courses that are tailored towards certifications like Security Plus and other ones out there, right? So you can take a look at it. It's a very good place and a good resource for anybody who want to start studying cybersecurity. That is a place that you can start, okay? And we will look at the where, yep, so this is the website. We will post it in the chat. Not maybe probably when we are done, you know, and we undo the slides, we can post it in the chat. And then also we will send it out in email or on any other platform, because it's easier if you just click on it and it takes you to the website than just to look at this and type it. And the next program that we will look at is the CISA Cybersecurity Training and Exercise, right? So CISA is the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. So CISA, just let me pause right here. So in cybersecurity, there are so many acronyms, right? CISA is one of the certification courses, is one of the auditing certification courses. So mostly if you see CISA somewhere, you might be confused. Is it CISA the certification or CISA the agency, right? But here is CISA the agency. And CISA, they are the ones who are really spearheading everything cybersecurity. And as part of their efforts, they also have a list of programs that you can take for free. And the list of programs that they have assessment, evaluation, and standardization, tabletop exercises, cybersecurity exercises. So they have something like in the form of a lab, but not really a lab, incident response training, ICS training. So they have all that also on there. So this is also another place that you can go to get some specialized and advanced cybersecurity training, right? And this is also free. And this is the site that you can go to, you know, to get training on this site. And we'll post that as well, okay? And now the really big one, you know, that I think maybe, you know, most people would like to take a look at. So the ones that we look at, like the previous ones that we just looked at, those are not geared towards any degree, right? Those are geared towards more certifications. But this is one government program. The SFS is one government program that is geared towards degree, right? So either master's or, you know, your bachelor's degree, you can take a look at this, even to PhD. So the scholarship, they call it scholarship for service. So scholarship for service is, simply means that they are going to give you a scholarship to go to school. And then once you're done, you know, you sign an agreement that you are going to come back to work for the federal government for some duration of time, okay? So they are giving you the money and then you are going to come back. Now we are going to look at the benefits and who is qualified to take part in this program, okay? So the scholarship components, you have up to 3 years of support for undergraduate or graduate. That is for either your master's or your PhD education. And an academic for each academic year, you have monies up to 25,000 per undergraduate students and also 34,000 for graduate students. And tuition and education related fees, they do not include your, feeding and housing and parking. Professional allowances that you can get, the maximum is 6,000 for SFS job fairs and other travel expenses, and also for your professional certifications like CISSP, Security Plus, and all those. This money is geared towards that, right? And then also participating in virtual or in-person job fairs at DC, and the postgraduate government service requirement for the period that you are going to use for school, right? So who is eligible for this? It says you have to be a United States citizen or a lawful permanent resident in the United States. And in addition to that, you either have to be a full-time student with 3 years of within 3 years of your graduation, right, with a bachelor's degree or master's degree. And also, if you are in like a research-based doctoral program, you're also qualified. Community college students are also qualified. This program has a pilot program that they call the SFS Community Cyber Pilot. So if the community college that you are going to is listed within this program, you also qualify for it, right? And also, I think for anybody who is trying to start a bachelor's program, just go to the website and look at it. You might also qualify. And for veterans, veterans are also qualified for it, right? So you either have to meet any of the three. You don't necessarily have to meet all three, right? So, but I think like the first one is non-negotiable, the citizenship and the lawful permanent residence. Okay. And how will you be able to apply? It's very simple. The websites are here, and you can also send them an email, and then they will direct you to exactly how you'll be able to go about the application. Okay, so Cynthia has a question. If you have a degree from Africa, does it? I mean, I think where you have your degree from doesn't really matter, right? I mean, degree is a degree. If it is from an accredited institution, it doesn't matter where in the world you got it. If that institution is accredited worldwide, then, you'll be able to use it anywhere, okay? All right, so this is how you'll be able to apply for this program. We will send this contact out as well. Now, we will get into the veteran side a little bit, and then we will jump back into other areas. So for veterans, we have VTech. And if you're a veteran on here and you're not aware of VTech, this is a good program for you to get yourself into. So VTech, it is a program that is meant to help veterans to get into IT and in cybersecurity, right? And for veterans, you have your GI Bill, so post 9/11 or like the Montgomery GI Bill. VTech does not come out from your GI Bill. So VTech is money that the government has set aside, or the government through VA has set aside to promote IT education among veterans, right? This program was started out almost I think 2019, and then 2019, so almost 2 years plus, and it's still a pilot program, right? So they are trying it out to see how it is. I think it's going to be a pilot program for the next 5 years, and after that, maybe they might turn it around and make it like a full-blown program. But still, if you're a veteran, you can go to the VTech website, fill an eligibility form, and then I think if you get approved, there are a list of schools that they've selected. So also with the VTech, one thing that I want to explain is, so the VTech, you are not going to get a degree of any sort, because all the schools that can participate in VTech, traditional schools are not allowed to participate in VTech. So VTech, schools like Eretmis Academy and other, so what you normally call your boot camp, it is boot camp schools that are allowed. So this program is for boot camp schools. they are the ones who are allowed to participate in the VTech program. So if you want to do anything degree on the veteran side, it has to go through your GI Bill. But to take part in the VTech, you have to go through an industry player who is organizing the bootcamp. So for companies or for school bootcamps, if you want to, participate in this, you've been qualified, you have to go to their website and choose a school. And they have like their qualified schools in there. So you go there, you choose your school, and then you fill the forms and everything from your school, and then VTech will fund the school. So you go through the training, and then when you get a job, so how they have it set up, mostly they will break the payments for the school. If maybe like the school is charging you $9,000, they will break it into 3. So they will pay $3,000 when you enroll, when you start the training, and then they will pay the next $3,000 when you get a job after the training. I think like when you complete the training, and then they will pay the last portion of it when you get a job, something like that. Yeah. So it's a very nice program. And also for veterans, you can hold on to your GI Bill and use this if you want to do anything cybersecurity or IT, right? So who is eligible? If you are on active duty, you are not eligible. You are not eligible, right? And you have to, if you are within 180 days of separation from active duty, I think you'll be eligible, right? And you have to have some, at least 1 day on your GI Bill. So although you are not using your GI Bill, the GI Bill, you have to have some benefits still left on your GI Bill. So at least they say, well, yeah, at least 1 day of unexpired GI Bill entitlement, you will qualify, right? And like I said, with the notes, it says it is not going to come out of your GI Bill, right? But I think if you don't have a GI Bill, if your GI Bill is like totally exhausted, there might still be like a way, because like for me, I was in the old GI Bill that was like the Montgomery, but I'm still qualified for the 9/11, right? So after using all the Montgomery, I still have like a year in the 9/11. So if I want to partake in this, I can still do it. Or even if I have maybe probably even $50 left in any of it, I'll still qualify. So that is what they mean by at least 1 day. I think like 1 day of GI Bill will be more than $50. I stand to be corrected. Yeah. So and the type of programs that the VetTech will cover, anything from computer software programming, anything, data processing, information science, media applications. So anything IT, anything cybersecurity, the VTech will cover, right? I think there was a question in here. Theophilus wanted to ask, what about master's degree in America? Are you qualified? Yeah, so Theophilus, I think so. I will send you the link, so you have to go there, send them an email, right? And they might be able to point you in the right direction. Oh, so Fred is asking that you mentioned active duty. What if you are a current federal employee? So the VTech is only for veterans. So I'm not sure for the federal employees. The first program that we looked at, some of the programs are specifically only for federal employees and veterans, right? And then they have ones that are for the general public. So there are some that the general public cannot access. So that is where you also get your benefit of being a federal employee. So if you go to the first one that we looked at, you'll be able to, get some good training on that side as well. Okay. But for VTech, I know it's only for veterans. I don't think like federal employees will qualify for that. And some of the benefits of VTech, aside you getting money for the training or VA paying for the training, you also get money for housing, right? Just similar to GI Bill. So you get money for housing. And if your training is in person, you get the full amount. If it's not in person, I think you're going to get like however they have it for GI Bill, that I think like is the same way that they have it set up. Okay, so aside just getting the money for the course itself for tuition, you're also going to get money for housing as well. Okay, which I think is pretty cool. And how do you apply? This is the website. You know, I'll post that also in there so you have access to it. Okay. So there's a question, okay, from Steve. Okay, so Steve is asking if he has, is he qualified if he has a PhD in computer science? Okay, so Steve, I think like you have to be a permanent resident or you have to be a citizen in the United States, right? So Steve says he has it from a different country coming in, but you have to be for that program for the SFS, you have to be a US citizen or you have to be a permanent resident. So I think, but I don't think there's any way around that, but I stand to be corrected. You can email them. I'll send out the information so you can email them or check on their website. Okay. So that was VTech. Now we are getting back to another scholarship from, sorry. Okay, there's another question. I will take a look at that. Okay, Thelma, can these programs be used for Eretmis? Okay, so let me answer Thelma first. So Thelma, so the programs that I talked about, right, they are not necessarily, they are not going to give you the money, right, to go and shop for any school that you want. Now for the SFS, they have, even for that, they have their own listed schools, right, that you can, their own catalog that you can choose from. Right, so you cannot use any of their funds for Eretmis. Now, next week, we will get into other scholarships where they are going to actually give you the money, right? So they will give you the money and you'll be able to shop around and find whatever school, or you will choose the school and then they will give the money to the school, right? So we will look at that next week, but this week, we are only touching on like these government programs that work directly with just the government and the other schools of their choice, right? There's another question in here by Nuruddin. What is the entry point for someone that has a graduate certificate from Walden in cybersecurity if I want to be on your entry point? I didn't really get that question, Nuruddin. If you can re-ask your question again, or maybe when we open the floor, you can ask your question again. Okay. So I didn't really get that question. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. We are still moving on, but please do go ahead and put your questions in the chat as we are moving along. Right. So for the Central Intelligence Agency, is one of the government agencies, and they also have their own scholarship program available. And mostly, if you guys have seen a trend for the government agencies or government scholarships, when you are done with your training, probably except the VTech that we looked at, they want you to come and work for them for a while, right, before you can go out on your own. And reason being that, like I was talking about earlier, shortage of cybersecurity professionals. So they are not going to train you and then have you go work on the corporate side, right? So at least they have to benefit also from your expertise before you can, go out. And also for you, it is going to be, really good, a good thing, because once you're done, you are almost guaranteed like your job is there, right? So who qualifies for this scholarship is for students who are interested in pursuing like a career in the government after they've done with their school, because obviously once you're done, they will have you work for them for a while. So if you have no interest of working in any government agency, then I don't really think this is going to be a good fit for you, right? So those attending college under CIA's scholarship, if you are already on their scholarship, I think like you probably also might qualify for this. And also during summers, you have the opportunity to also come and work for them. So kind of an internship sort of, right? But this is the scholarship from CIA. And these are the benefits that you're going to get from the CIA scholarship. So 1,800 per calendar year for tuition and books and fees. And then daily allowance for meal and incidentals during summer tours. Okay, reimbursement for transportation costs between school and Washington, D.C., and annual salary. So I think the annual salary is when you are done with school and you are working for them. I don't think they're going to give you an annual salary whilst you are still in school and they are paying for the school. Okay, so this is where you apply for this scholarship. Also, that will be posted in there. And we will address Josh's question. So Josh says, does the government pay at per salaries for person getting scholarships training? So Josh, are you trying to ask if the government is going to pay you a salary as you are going through like the training that they are paying for? I don't think so. Maybe they will give you some allowances, but you are not going to get actual salary. So maybe probably you were asking about this, but I think I answered that already. So this is part of the benefit. So that like they could have reworded this as they are going to give you employment once you are done, right? But this is directly from their website. So, it is not anything of my doing, right? I just, in order not to misquote them, just took everything from their website. So after the training, when you get absorbed, yes. So yes. Like salaries obviously will be when you are working for them. Okay. All right. So that is the scholarship schemes that we are going to go through for today. So for next week, we will look at states and then also on the corporate side. But next week is going to be a bit longer because there are more programs out there. Like I was thinking maybe this was going to take a bit longer, but these are some of the scholarships out there on the corporate side. So just these three that we put on here, but there's a lot. I think last time on our platform, we posted a link for scholarship. I think it was predominantly for some women scholarship, women in cybersecurity scholarship type of deal. We'll be posting some of them also on the platform. So for just to really kind of whet your appetite for next week, these are some of it. ISC Square, if most of you are familiar with them, they are one of the certification bodies out there. They are the ones who, like, you take CISSP through them, anything on a CAP through them. They have like a whole bunch of certifications. They are, I think, like the oldest certification body when it comes to cybersecurity out there. So they have scholarships for people who want to get into the cybersecurity industry. But there is a whole list of scholarships that I think for next week, we were just going to do the whole catalog and probably maybe even send it out to everybody before we even get into like discussing which one of these scholarships is what, right? But for the government side, we're still going to look at it more next week, and we will really take it down to states. For states, I'll be a bit biased. I'll only focus predominantly on New York because we cannot do it for every state. And also because New York has a lot of programs when it comes to cybersecurity training and money for cybersecurity. So we are going to open the floor for questions, and we are not going to limit like the questions to only what we did today. You can ask your questions in any area of cybersecurity as well that you might want to ask. So we open the floor to the questions. I think like whoever asked the question that I said I really didn't get, please you can ask your question again, since now like you'll be able to really explain it well. Okay, let me look through the chat and see exactly who that was. Oh, that was Nuruddin. So Nuruddin, you can have the floor. Please ask your question again. Oh, Nuruddin is still muted. Or you can just type it in there, like if you don't want to talk. All right, so any questions? And also for like the veterans, there is some other programs that we might probably talk about next week as well, right? But for anybody else, if you have any questions on any of these presentations or anything cybersecurity in general, you can bring it up for discussion for everybody.
Hello, Dr. Adu.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask a question about the internship program. One is the actual start date. I think I received an email for my ID card, but I don't know what next.
Okay, so all the information will be sent out, but the first meeting will be on the 28th, I believe. 28th is a Saturday, so it will be on 28th in the morning at 9, and we will all other informations will be outlined there, and then everybody will be assigned to their respective companies that they will be working for, and we will start it from there. Okay. And also now what we are trying to do is after the internship, mostly if you don't necessarily get absorbed into the company and you're still looking for a job, we will have you on there as in whatever shadow like position, but it's still going to be project based, right? So I mean, you can choose to do it or not, but you can stay around, and that is going to count always, your experience. Because one of the companies that we use for our last internship, now they are coming back to me and asking, hey, where are all your team that worked on these projects? We need them to come and work on this and probably sit in some of our meetings. So there are chances that they might probably absorb some of those people as well. So Leonard, please go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is regarding the internship too. For someone who's working or that has a job, how does a person go about the internship program?
Okay, so for the internship program, it is project based, right? So you don't have, it's not going to interfere with your normal workday. So you are going to be working in groups. So whatever project you and your group are going to be working on, you and your group will determine the time and date throughout the week that you guys will meet and discuss it and start working on it, right?
Oh, okay.
So let's say you guys are doing like policy review, right? And you have like 15 or 20 policies. You and your team will meet. You have a team lead, like a deputy team lead. So like you guys will probably meet at 7 p.m. on Friday when everybody's off work. You guys will discuss, okay, this is how we're going to attack it. We are going to break it out. This is exactly what are the criteria that we are going to use to do this review. Once everybody understands it, we will dish it out. Maybe Leonard is going to get 15 of the policies. Cynthia is going to get that. Maybe probably you're going to get 3 or 4. Cynthia is going to get 5. And then everybody will go and work on it and then come back later, and then put everything together. And you guys are going to present it through us to the company. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
It is, yes. So it is just project based. So it's not going to interfere with your work.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And Nuruddin has his question in here again. Let me. Okay, so he's asking, I'm trying to ask for the entry program in cybersecurity for someone with a graduate certificate in cybersecurity. So are you asking if you can take our cybersecurity entry level course? Or because okay, so let me just break that down. With cybersecurity degrees, right? Just like any degree, I mean, you'll be good on the theory side, and also for some schools will also do hands-on training for you. But because now all these schools are trying to do their own things when it comes to cybersecurity curriculum, unless I know what are the courses that you took and what are the hands-on experiences that you have, taking an entry-level course, also depending on what is in the entry-level course, is really gonna be kind of the yardstick that I'll be able to use to advise you on. Okay. So like I can't just generally say, hey, if you are done with your master's degree or your bachelor's degree, still go take like an entry-level course or like a course for beginners. And like I have to know what you know, right? And know how your training went. So we can probably talk offline after this, and I'll learn more about it and then point you in the right direction. And Emmanuel is asking, please, hold on. When is the last day to sign up? Emmanuel, when is the last day to sign up for what? Is it the internship?
Yes, the internship.
Okay, the last day was for the students. The last day was this Thursday, I believe. But for like somebody like like Nuruddin, who has his training elsewhere, who want to join, I mean, it is still open to them to join, right? Kingsley, please go ahead. Kingsley, I think you are muted. Or Kingsley's hand was up previously and he just didn't put it down. Okay, let me ask him to unmute.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, sorry. So like, so I'm the civilian with the defense, right? And
Okay.
we have most of these programs that you're speaking about. But then the only question is, they did not allow outside certification unless they are on certifications and training camps and all of that. So then my question is it possible to take their soft skills programs and also like join the arithmetic job on the job training and internship? That may be the cost to be cheaper.
Yes. Yes, you can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Josh, please go ahead.
I can't hear. Someone needs to mute. I mean,
I think that was Kingsley. I muted him. Please go ahead.
Okay, my question is, thank you for walking us through this, the scholarship. That was really great. But my question is, I did my cybersecurity 6 months program through Kingsland University. That was last year. It's been a year now. I lost track of what I've done, to be honest with you, but they charged me about 25,000 grand and saying that, you have to pay after you get a job, but I haven't found a job yet and they're behind my money. But I know a little bit of idea about what I've done being a novice. I mean, starting from scratch that I did. But since you take it seriously about what you're doing, Dr. Abdu, I wanted your help as how should I, program myself to get into the stream and benefit out of the program that I did. And if you can be of any help, what would be that help be? That's my question.
Okay, so just like I was talking to Nuruddin, like I probably have to talk to you offline and see what you did and what you know and be able to leverage you well, because right now, if I just tell you, hey, we are going to push you onto the job market and the knowledge and the skills are not there, right?
Correct.
During interviews, you are just going to, look funny because like they'll be asking you questions and you'll be fumbling and you'll be all over the place. But
Absolutely.
if I talk to you, I'll be able to identify your knowledge gaps and your skills gaps and direct you to, okay, if they taught you this, go back to it, do this. And even like some of the courses that I was showing you guys on here, even if you don't have the money to, get into another paid course, you can always go there and I can show you what course to take on there to help you close that knowledge gap. And also once you're done with that and the knowledge gap is good and the skills side is also good, we can help you with job placement. So we can help you find a job.
Thank you, Dr. Abdul. So how would I get in touch with you? Is there a number that I can call you at?
Yes,
or?
I'll put my contacts in here so you can get hold of me anytime.
Sure.
Right. So yes, I'm going to put it in here for everybody. LinkedIn is also on there, so you can link up on LinkedIn.
Fantastic.
Yeah. but mostly these are on individual basis. And also, like, don't give up. Finding jobs in cybersecurity as a beginner, sometimes it can take longer, sometimes, you know, quick, like faster. So depending on, you know, if you know what you're doing and, you know, like which hiring managers that you get yourself in front of, because you might have the knowledge, the skill, you're on fire, but if you are not getting yourself in front of the right people, you know, you might not really get it. And also, but if you have like big gaps in your knowledge and your skills, then, you know, you can get yourself in, like, in front of the right people, but still they are looking for somebody who is going to take some of their pain away, not add to it, because they're not going to pick you up and then now you are a big liability. They have to be teaching you and showing you everything. And if you get yourself into a company that has no cybersecurity infrastructure in place and they are relying on you to build everything from scratch, then there's going to be issues. Okay. So talking to you individually, I'll be able to figure it out and see, okay, you might need this, you might need that, go this way or go that way. It's not necessarily even you coming to us to enroll in any of our courses. But, I mean, the main goal of this community is to really to help. Right?
Absolutely. I appreciate that, Dr. Abdul.
Thank you, Josh. All right. And for Isaac, there is a question in here for the information. Okay. So Isaac was saying he has to sign out. Oh, Sheila is asking if we you can get grants through Eretmis as a student. So Sheila, can you ask that question? Grants through Eretmis, like grants to come to you. Are you looking for like scholarship to come to Eretmis or Eretmis giving scholarships? I didn't really get that.
Yes, is that like taking a class at Eretmis? Do you qualify to get like any scholarship to sponsor that?
Oh, through us, like get like a scholarship through us?
No, not through you exactly, but the programs that you
that we listed. So next week we will talk about that, right? Next week we'll talk about scholarships and grants that are not school specific.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So you can get money from, you know, any of these like scholarship schemes. They can pay directly, because we've had like 2 or 3 students like who were sponsored. So the organization that was sponsoring them, one was their company, and then the other one, I don't remember the organization, but there are so many programs out there. So like the organization, we will send them an invoice and then they will pay the company and then you come to the school, right? So those programs are also there. But like next week, we'll come out with like a whole list on the corporate, and like those are mostly on the corporate side. But on the government side, once you're done, they want you to come back. So they have certain schools, and mostly with the government, except with the VTech program for the veterans, mostly they do traditional schools, right? So traditional schools that are going to give you degrees. Now, boot camps, we don't give degrees, you know, so it's funny when people come and they are like, are you accredited? Do you have, I mean, we are not issuing you any degree of any sort, right? Boot camps, you come for the knowledge and the skill, certificates of completion, go get yourself Security Plus or CISSP or some other certification, right? So that is what boot camps do. But then most of the times, everybody who go to the traditional school will still turn around and come back to boot camps, because that is where the skills and the knowledge is really at, right? Okay, Efren is also saying, oh, I'm talking about advice. I can also discuss my IT background that way. Okay, Efren, I didn't really get that. So yeah, if we can talk offline if you need us to discuss anything. And I think like Josh's hand is still up. Maybe probably I just have to lower it. All right, everybody. Any questions? I appreciate everybody's time, frankly. Friday night, you could have been doing a million other things, right? But you chose to be here. Thank you very much. And next week, we're still going to meet again, continue this whole list. And what we did today, we are going to send it out. So everybody is going to get it. We will go by first, if you are not on any of our emailing lists, we will use this list for the group right here and send it to everybody. So everybody is going to get it. I really appreciate everybody's time. If you have any questions or you need help with anything, cybersecurity, please reach out, right? We are here to help. Reach out. We will help any way possible. So next week, we're still going to be here, same time. I appreciate everybody's time. Oh, Fred. Okay, go ahead, Fred. Last question, Fred.
Sorry, Dr. Ade, for running in late. I was just wondering, for students who have completed the form that was sent out through the emails, are we going to receive anything back in emails, or we just need to meet back on Saturday the 28th?
So you guys are going to get follow-up information. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
For the internship, I believe.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
what you're talking about. Yes. And please, I put my contact in here again. I'll send it out together with the notes and everything we did today to everybody as well. I appreciate everybody's time. God bless. Have a blessed weekend and a prosperous new week. We will meet next weekend on Friday at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
too.
Adu from Los Angeles.